To me, Baldur's Gate 3 is 6 weeks since I bought it, 2 days of installation, and over 70 hours of gameplay. My conclusion? This game sucks a lot of time and energy, and was it worth it? When buying Baldur's Gate, my goal was to have something while waiting for Starfield. Now, 2 months after it's released, I'm frustrated. I don't have that much time for the game. This episode is gonna come out long after other reviews. I still haven't laid a finger on Starfield. And yeah, I still haven't reached the end of Baldur's Gate. The video game release schedule for the end of this year is really tearing me apart. Lies of P just came out, Spider-Man is about to drop, Mortal Kombat is tempting me, and I still haven't laid a finger on Starfield. And oh my god, Sea of Stars looks so good, and everyone's talking about Shan of Thenor, and there is this thing called Lord of Fallen, and oh my god, I forgot Pikmin, and the new Super Mario, and Alan Wake, and so many racing games. Meanwhile, I'm just playing Baldur's Gate. All of this because when I tried to rush the main quest, there was a grandma who wanted to eat children, and then someone talked to me about a sword. But it was underground, and I lost its trace, and there were people to rescue, and a conspiracy, and a big bad guy, and so I continued underground, and finally everything ended. But it was just the first act. So I went back underground, because in fact I kind of forgotten the main quest. But this time there was a curse and even more people to rescue, and so I wanted to understand how the curse worked, so I forgot about the main quest, again. And at some point I thought it would be nice to do my video on Baldur's Gate, because it's been 6 weeks already. So I haven't finished Baldur's Gate. And yeah, I'm still making a video. Because I do have a lot to say about it that haven't been brought up by anyone yet. And I admit, I feel a bit bad making a video about it. Because when you see other people's video, they have something like, 150 hours on the game? Just only 1 or 2 weeks after its release? Really guys, I don't know where you found the time. Making a YouTube video already takes a lot of time. But some of you manage to release 2 videos a week while spending hundreds of hours gaming. What's your secret? Do you play in your sleep? Or take magic candies? It would be nice to share with everyone. Alright, okay, enough with the jokes. We're here to talk about Baldur's Gate 3. As I've mentioned before, what's cool about Baldur's Gate is that you set off in the direction of your main quest. But then someone asks you for help with something else, and then you stumble upon another thing, and you save other people, etc, etc, etc. This is a sign of high quality quest design. Why? Because in contrast, in a lower quality game, they'll set up the level progression like this. Either you progress through the level until you get stuck and need to grind for XP, which basically means going around killing monsters and doing repetitive side quests, or second option, they litter your map with shiny things and question marks. If you investigate what's going on there, you will get a relatively powerful piece of equipment. And if you find a lot of them, you'll get a little achievement at the end of the game. Anyway, we can agree it's not the most interesting thing. How Baldur's Gate's making things interesting is quite clever, and it's a technique that already present in many games in many forms. We see it in Skyrim, Mass Effect, and even Breath of the Wild. The technique involves sending you to a specific location or area, and scattering dungeons, enemy, a side quest, or even a small village with multiple points of interaction. This greatly enhances the feeling of exploration and investment for players, while allowing them to gain experience. What works particularly well for Baldur's Gate 3 is that the appeal of these branching paths lies in the narrative they bring to the story's lore. In other words, they pique your curiosity by having you investigate where the merchant's cart was massacred, or by having you track down a criminal, or pushing you to find a specific object. Many reasons will lead you to deviate from your initial path, getting involved in the lives of others with the intention of helping or robbing them. Each of these elements breathes life into the world while guiding the player towards its resolution, without them even realizing it. This kind of adventure unfolds like a book or a movie. There's no time to pause, to dwell on details, because the details are so seamlessly woven into the narrative as bridges that unfold the story. To me, this form of level design is simply genius. And what truly excites me here is, once again, my reward is going to be lore, a story, a slice of life of certain characters, and not just gameplay. Because yes, in some games, this discovery works with gameplay. Your typical reward would be a spectacular showdown or some great loot. However, what I love about Baldur's Gate is that my reward sometimes may be a thank you, a smile, or the best, a see you soon. Because yes, where Baldur's Gate excels, and where I haven't seen any other game of its kind succeed to this extent, is in this promise of future encounters. Even in the Mass Effect series or Elder Scrolls, which are pioneers, we don't find that. The fact that I will see again the characters I've helped, that I genuinely have life or death influence over them, that my choices will impact them over time and not just in a conclusion, this are what make Baldur's Gate sublime. It's what keeps me from quitting midway or starting over endlessly. I evolve throughout the story, but also the story evolves with me. It's a gem of narrative design. I dream of writing a game like this. I love playing games like this. And this is why I couldn't play Starfield without finishing this one. I want to finish Baldur's Gate 3 because it's a game that deserves it. If I stopped now, I'd feel more than frustrated. It would be like giving up everything it had to offer me. 17,000 endings, easily 200 hours of gameplay, thousands of character customization combinations, etc, etc, etc. Numbers, numbers, and more numbers. Summarizing the adventure in figures that, let's agree, mean nothing, it borders on the absurd. Of course, I know I'm being too harsh, but nowadays, when selling games, you need the spectacular. You need to say things that make people dream, even if they don't mean anything. And it annoys me. Today, when they talk to you about a game to sell it or review it, no one in the mainstream media can get me excited. And yet they're talking about a real banger, but they can't find the words to describe or explain its true strengths. Fortunately, there are good YouTubers out there, and fortunately, I can form my own opinion. But damn! 90% of the discussion focus on questions that are far from the most interesting. I made a video on the subject if anyone is interested. Now, to be sure that my thumbnail is not too clickbaity, I have to explain why this game frustrates me. Simply put, as I mentioned it before, the release schedule in recent weeks has been brutal. Because Baldur's Gate is demanding, because it takes time. But to answer my first question, yes, it's worth it. It's highly likely that one day this game will be analyzed in classrooms, discussing its level design or narrative design. It will inspire other games, ignite passions, and shape careers. If a book is ever written to terrorize about its mechanics or its narration, I've been one of the first ones to buy it. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I know some of you may be surprised that I based this video on so few arguments. If you're looking for a complete review of the game that dissects its strengths and weaknesses, point by point, I know you'll find plenty on those on the internet. But my goal here wasn't that. In my Chronic series, what's important for me to share with you is something personal, my own feelings, which is the best way for me to convey my love for video games. So if you like Chronic, I have more videos in this format. Subscribe and don't hesitate to check them out. Now if you're looking for a more in-depth analysis and reflection, I have a format that addresses issues in a more general and comprehensive manner, so feel free to check that out too. Thank you for staying until the end. Be sure to leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and see you soon!